Turn that on. And hey, how's everyone doing? My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and today we're going to draw this beautiful mill in with a waterfall, and we're going to draw these autumn leaves in this beautiful forest. How's that sound for this afternoon in October, right? Hi, Pamela. I see you. And Louise, glad you guys are chiming in here. Always happy to see familiar people. So if you're brand new to the channel, welcome. I'm really glad you're here. Excuse me. Do me a great big favor. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And at some point in this video, just take a minute to like the video and let me know if you would like us to maybe do more seascapes, urban settings, or more pictures out in the forest. All right? Put that in the comments. Hold on. I got a cough. He's back. So here we are. We're going to draw this beautiful landscape here, and let's go over a few things before we get started. When you're drawing landscapes, for me, one of the best things I think of is the word layering and how objects layer in front of each other. All right. So take this. Right now, we're looking straight at this. But pretend like we could run around and look at it from the side. So let's just say this was like a stage, all right? And the audience was here and they were looking at our picture. Well, this rock formation that's down here at the bottom, you know, that might be right here, you see? And then you get this first step of waterfalls and they might be right there. So you would be looking at that. Behind that, you might see the next rock formation. Then you might get some trees, but behind that you might see the sawmill, right? And then of course behind that you're going to see all of these trees. So think of when we're drawing this landscape. Think of it as layers. What's in front of what? All right. So that's the first thing I want you to think of is layers. Okay. Next thing I want you to think of is value or tone. And what I want you to do is like, if we look at this picture here in front of me, and I ask the question, hey, Christina and Elena, I see you guys. If you look at this picture in front of you, what is the most brightest spot in that picture? Right? It's that water that's cascading over. Everything else in the picture should relatively be darker than that. So the white of the page will be seascapes and forest. Okay, that sounds good. So the white of the page should be where that water is cascading over. So there's some highlights on some of the rocks that are also pretty well bright white. So those are different things we want to think of in value. All right. And the last thing I want you to think about when we draw this is edges. And when two objects come together, whether they be water and rock, whether they be trees and in a building, ask yourself what kind of edge are they creating? Is it a soft edge or is it a hard edge? Right? So as you are working through the different values, and you come up against something else, think of like, oh, should this be a soft edge or should this be a hard edge? All right, so think of those three things: layers, values, and edges. All right. Let's go ahead then and jump into it. I am live, so if you do have a question, just give a shout out. Okay, getting my board set up here so we can see everything. Okay, good, got that. All right, so the picture that I'm going to draw today, this little picture here, in order for us to try and get this thing done in an hour or less, is only going to be, the size of my picture is only going to be about 3.5 by 4.5 inches. So that's, that's a pretty small area there, but it's going to allow me to get through all these different values. So on your sketchbook, if you're in a sketchbook, what I would recommend is that you start off with a frame. That is about the same proportion of the picture that we're going to draw. And like I said, mine is about 3.5 by 4.5. When we're done with this, if you're like, oh, that's a beautiful picture, I want to make it bigger, by all means. But if you went up to a size that was 8.5 by 11, well, that might take you about 3 hours to complete. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. First thing I want to do is a little bit of a gesture, but some of these lines I put in, I want to try and make them accurate. All right, so look at this here. Look at the edge. The edge of that beginning of that waterfall is almost about 2/3 down. And then the bottom of that waterfall is down here below that. And these are just a quick little guides. Look at this. Look at where the edge of that rock falls. So that rock is like this. Maybe it's like right about there. You see this? And in front of that rock, we have this going on. Now there's another rock that other big wide rock here that's on this side. Look at that. That's a little bit higher up, right? So it's going to be like right about in here. And all we're doing right now is just kind of quickly breaking our picture down so we know what to work with. All right, as I move up my picture, I can see that there's another large rock, but I do want to point this out to you before you draw it. Okay. Look out. This is the edge. This is the edge of the waterfall. That's what we have established already. And look, it's not that far up from this big huge rock area is not that far up from the edge of the waterfall. So careful you don't put that at the top of your page. So let's see here now. That's going to be like right about in here, I believe. And then right to the left of it, we've got this other rock that's kind of coming down there. You see that? Yeah, Tamar's in the house. I see you. All right. On the right side here, there's some other little rocks. I'm just kind of drawing a horizontal line to try and get those established. All right, let's work on this. Let's get this house, not the house, the mill here. All right. So first thing on this mill, look, it's behind the tree, but I know that's the edge of it. You see it there? And now look at that relative to either side of the page. Guess what? That's almost halfway. So where am I going to be at? So I'm just going to roughly, that's halfway, I'm just going to roughly put a line there. I really don't know how tall or how tall to make it. I'm just going to put a line there to guide me for right now. That's my next line I'm going to put. Now I'm just kind of lightly putting these things in. All right, there's the next one. But now be careful of this. Look how much distance it is between there versus how much distance it is between there. Whenever I draw a house, I always look for that corner that is closest to me. And I start off with a vertical before I do any perspective. Okay, so let's erase some of this here so it doesn't get in our way. Okay, so first thing I want to look for is I want to kind of determine where this point is. All right, where is this point right here? And it's just a guess. This is just approximate. All right, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say it's right about there. All right, that's where I'm going to put that mark. And yours might be different, and that's okay. Okay, look at that angle right there. You see that? Let's drop that angle in. And then let's drop the angle in on the other side. And it's just slight. Okay, let's look for this little corner right there. You see that? I'm trying to build my house as a cube first. And then we could probably go straight horizontal with this, like almost as if this was at our eye line. And we could go the other side as well, just like that. Okay, so this continues down right to the edge of that rock. You see that? So we can kind of come down there. Now you see, like there's the mechanism that brings the water to the wheel, right? And it's right about there. All we're trying to do is create big shapes, okay? Okay, now this is what we're going to draw next. It's going to be this right here, this oval. You see that oval? That is the side of that wheel that's up against the house or very close to it. So let's put that in there. If this is the top there, it's going to be a little bit lower. Yell at me if I'm going too fast. I'm in the house. Okay, this is like a cylinder, so let's make a top. And the bottom's covered, but that's okay. This will still help us. So let's... These are just guides. Okay, let's add a roof to the top of our house. And if you're first time here drawing with me, if you have any type of square, you have to find the direct center. So you connect the corners, and that gives you the perfect center. Then you go straight up from there. And then that's where you put your roof. So if we look at our picture here, let's lightly put an X over here in the corner on the side there. All right, let's angle the roof, the peak of the roof just a little bit. So all of these things would end up converging to the vanishing point on the right-hand side. Take this angle right there, and we're going to copy it right over here, just like this. So I give you some time to catch up here. If you are first time, I'm really glad that you're here. But I want to just remind you or just throw out there, I do have a live drawing class called The Daily Draw. If you're struggling to try and fill up that sketchbook or even to not sure what you want to draw next, The Daily Draw we meet Monday through Friday. Mondays, we always look at something natural. Tuesdays, we look at something man-made. Wednesday's always portrait. Thursday is character design, and Friday is animals. So we get together every day of the week for about a half an hour. And I just say that the best way for you to improve is to draw a little bit every single day. Hey, the Daily Draw takes a lot of that guessing work out of it, and I'm there to help you. There to look at your work and give you some criticism, not criticism, but give you some feedback to help you get better. All right, let's continue here. All right, let's come in here with the eraser. I'm going to erase this little center part of the circle. And then look at the struts. You see that? I'm just going to clean up my wheel just a little bit here. Now the paddles in the wheel are all going to, yeah, there you go, Louise. Thank you. Louise says she loves the Daily Draw. You just can't beat it. You can't beat it for the money, right? So all the paddles of the wheel are going to converge also to the vanishing point on the right-hand side here. So So watch what I do here. I'm going to make sure that as you draw them, you slowly kind of, you see I'm changing the angle slightly of them? The vanishing point's somewhere way out there. All right, let's keep going. So all we're doing is breaking this down into different areas or shapes. And then we can come back in and start adding some value. All right, so we've got this trough that is feeding. And it looks like it curves around. So let's see what we could do about that. So here's the base. And then I've got this pylon there. This that's kind of angling in. I got another one there. And then they start getting closer together because they're turning a corner. Okay, we've got an X. Got another one. All right, I'm going to use some surface lines and just kind of make these verticals so it kind of creates the illusion of these like slats of wood coming across the that trough. All right, looking at our sawmill, let's drop some shadows in here. So at the very top, this is where the roof line, you see this eave is going to, I'm going to add a little thickness there. There's going to be a little bit of dark value over here as well. Now, the next roof is actually angled. So there's a whole nother section here. So watch this. So let's just kind of add one more, just like that. We're going to take that same angle there. And let's put this in shadow here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tone to this. It's going to help my mind like turn the corner of that. I'm erasing some of these guides I had. Okay, so the paddles that are on the water wheel, well, how we made all those go to the vanishing point. We have to do that the same thing for the tiles, the shingles on the roof. So if I'm going like this, all right, so I could just kind of divide that in half. I just want to be very careful. And then even this one down here. Some of this is going to be covered by trees. Okay, let's lightly put in some squares here that are going to represent those windows on that sawmill. This is in the distance, so we don't need to have like super detail on this. Then I'm going to add a little bit of a tone to this, going up and down, but making sure this edge here is darker. Just going to darken in some of these lines here. I'm going to add some value to my wheel and then add darker value toward the bottom of it. Okay, let's jump into these rocks here, and then we'll kind of move our way up. So first rock I want to look at is the one on the bottom left. And you can kind of see it has a face to it and then the top of it. You see it's like a stair step. So let's just kind of come in here. I'm going to add some value first. Following the surface. The surface is straight up and down. And of course then the surface changes. Okay, this is where I'm going to look at my first value change. I'm going to squint with my eye. And this whole area is going to be darker than the top. Just kind of looking for the shape of some of these darker areas. I'm looking for the shape. Now check this out. I'm going to circle it. This is where I was talking about like the edge of something and the value of something. So here the top of the rock is a much lighter value than the rock behind it. And also the edge is pretty sharp. So let's do that. Let's add that edge in here. Plus, this rock, this darker rock, is much darker than the one in front of it. So let's just come in here and add an overall tone, an overall value that reflects that. Okay, Now look at this. Underneath this rock, look, I'm going to add the edge here. Okay. I'm just adding some surface lines to the top of that rock now. Okay, let's jump over here to the right. And let's add some tone to this rock in the middle. Now he seems to be almost more closer to the one up front. So let's just come in here and add some light value overall first. And then come back, work in some of these shadows, and think of these shadows as shapes, okay? I'm using surface lines, and so they might be a series of little marks like this. I might even add a couple dots to signify the texture. There's a couple little stranded rocks, so we could put those in as well. We're going to come back and do the water in just a second here, but for right now, let's just, where the rocks come in contact with the water, it's pretty flat. All right. Let's go ahead and outline just the outside part of the waterfall. So looks like there's another step of rocks down in here, right? So let's see here. Let's look at this. Look at here's the edge of the waterfall, and okay, that kind of lines up, right? Look at about where that lines up near that house. You see that? Well, something's going on. Okay, so it's going to be about here, I think. Then I'm just going to kind of visually step this down. You see that? Like that. Now let's jump over and do that again, but to the far side here. So think of stairs. It's like cascading down. You see that? So on that side, it's going to be something like this, maybe. All right, look at this now. I'm gonna kind of outline the waterfall now over there, you see? And I'm gonna do this lightly, So I'm going to come back and adjust some values. Okay, look at that. Over there. Oops, wrong color. You guys like my haircut? Got a nice haircut. During COVID, I had of course, my wife started cutting my hair, and man, she did such a good job. I never went back to the barber. Okay. Oh, let's erase some of these guides here. And now, let's come in and we're not going to draw the white of the page. We're going to draw the negative area. All right. Hey, thanks, Christina. Yeah, she does a great job. In fact, my son even comes home just to get a haircut. I told her, I said, just do it. She goes, I've never done this before. I go, just do it. There's guy's hair. You can't mess it up. And here we are. What year is it? 23. 3 years later, and she's a rock star, right? Okay, I added a little bit of tone going across there. Oh, look at that. We got a little. All right. Let's keep going here now. Let's add a little bit more, just some little bit of value here. We're not going in all this. We're not going in all the way here yet. I'm just kind of lightly adding just the negative area here. Slowly making my way across this. All right, let's come back to the far left-hand side again, and this time drop in another value. Try and keep these even here. Even value. Look at this. Look at this whole edge here. This is interesting. Right here. That once and way over here. This edge. Once things move over that edge, they get lighter. The things on top of that I mean, the things on top of that are darker. Once they go over the edge, they get a little bit darker. So let's make sure that we are making everything below that have a little bit of value. I'm going to squint my eyes and look, this water below this has a little bit of tone. So I'm going to drop a little bit of tone there, and then as it gets further out, it gets a little bit darker in value. We're going to address these reflections here in just a bit. All right, let's keep moving up. So we, underneath this this rock here, look at this. This has some darker tone, but let's just drop in a overall value for this big rock right there. And then looking underneath, I'm just looking at the dark shapes. So look at this dark shape here. Keep stepping up. We've got this nice dark tone. Right above it. That's the foundation for this mill. But then there's this really awesome highlight. Okay? So watch this now. If we want to get that highlight to read, let's darken everything else around it. Okay, then above it. You know, sometimes I like to try and, without having to erase. There's nothing wrong with erasing, but if you could create those little edges without erasing, so much better. Okay, another big old rock coming in from the left-hand side here. And then right underneath this paddle wheel, it's pretty black. It creates a nice negative shape. Ooh, 10 minutes left. Can we do it? I think we'll get close. We might go over just a bit. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving up and drop a couple more things in here. I'm gonna squint my eyes now, okay? And I'm looking at all of the leaves in the background. And amongst all the leaves, I'm asking myself, what is the lightest light? And what is the darkest dark in the way of leaves? So first thing I want to do is I'm going to add a light overall tone to this whole background here. All right, Tamara. I bet yours looks good. Light overall tone, okay? Now we're going to add a tone to it so that the waterfall really is the brightest point of the page. Okay, now once again I'm squinting, so I'm going to start adding darker values here. So there's like trees back here, so I can just darken in that value. There seems like a green trees back here. And then I've got another bunch here. I'm just kind of making my way across the top here. Okay, so this is where the trees are overlapping the building. Yes, Linda, we're live. I'm live right now. I've been live for the last hour. Okay, look, there's this big old negative space here. I can see a branch coming in way over here. Now there's a trunk. Now that trunk is white. You see that? So let's see what we could do. Let's see if we can add some value to the right side and then add some value to the left side as well. Just adding value here. I'm not worried about the detail yet. Okay, sounds good. Okay, squint my eyes again. I'm going to come back into this. Darken up some values, a little bit darker here, right? Still not worried about leaves or anything yet. Just trying to get a bunch of values that I could work with. We'll get the detail here in just a second. All right, here we go now. I'm going to just start adding just some little squiggles here. Taking my time. I always add value. You don't have to do it this way, but this is what I like doing, is adding some type of value first before I start adding like little details, like, oh, what's the edge of that tree look like? What do the leaves look like? I'll add a little bit of value and then come back in. And by the way, when you add value, you want to make sure that you are having a consistent coverage. You see that? There's a dark value. I'm trying to get my lines to be very smooth, not like this. You see, I'm going too fast if I do that. I'm trying to get an even coverage. Little smudges, little squiggles. Maybe, Bob Ross used to say, happy little trees, right? Oh, look at those little happy little trees, right? All right. Get those little happy little squiggles down. Okay, how's that looking? Not bad. I'm going to darken these a little bit around the edge of my roof, so my roof will pop just a little bit more, you see? Now this is different than the picture, but I've decided to do that. So I get this nice contrast here, you see? All right. Oh, you will, Linda. It just comes. You'll get it. I guarantee you'll get it. Okay, let's come back down. Let's kind of move on down here in our picture. Get some nice surface lines here. And then I'm just going to come back in and add another darker value. Look at that. Okay, let's go ahead and make these, let's make this look like water here, right? So it's really looking closely at the values, all right? So the water going over the edge is a little more darker value than the water that's on the top, you see? And then I'm going to just use some surface lines to describe the direction. Just thinking is, where would I go if I was the water, right? Keep thinking of What is the edge? Is this a soft edge? Is this a hard edge? What's the value here? Okay, let's drop down now. Okay, I'm going to jump all the way down. I'm just kind of giving an overall look here, what's going on with this. Okay, I'm going to jump all the way down in the water now and start to work out some of these reflections. So here we go. Let's get a reflection here from that rock. And these reflections are straight up and down. Okay, that rock's going to get a nice... This guy's going to get a nice reflection. This little guy will as well. Okay. Remember, drawing is something that just takes time. Sometimes we all can get over anxious. Oh my gosh, this looks awful. This is not very good. I'm going to quit. Well, many people have quit. I've quit a couple times out of pure frustration. Taken many years off from it. And then I decided to come back to it again and come back to it. So it's okay. It's a lifetime of learning. I'm just adding more detail here in mine. You know, another thing happens that's nice, and I'll end with this thought. You know, sometimes you'll draw a picture and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that is just awful looking. You put it away, close it, and then you come back and you think, you know, that's not too bad for where I'm at. That's a good place to be. Just to turn the page and keep going. You'll get it. I guarantee you. You know why I know you'll get it? Because I got it. Just time. That's the only thing that is missing. All right. I think that's going to do it for today. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. I really do enjoy your company, and it's a lot of fun to get together and to practice drawing a little bit. This has been our Monday afternoon live. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for being in the Facebook group. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and all that great stuff. All right? All right, everyone. My name is Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Go out there and make your day great. All right. Bye-bye.